Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to read through part of the article here, not quite all of it. There's a link in the description, and I need to provide a trigger warning. The subject matter of this case, this article, is extremely grim. It involves the murder of an 8-week-old boy at the hands, allegedly at the hands of his scumbag parents, those two that you see in front of you. This happened in Louisiana. And I do need to provide a high-level trigger warning. I'm going to be reading through quite a bit of details in regards to the injury sustained by this 8-week-old baby boy. And why are we going to look through the details? Because it just blows our mind. It's just shocking. And it just shows the evil that unfortunately is out there in the world. We're seeing a number of articles like this on an ongoing basis. This is not a one-off situation. By any means, but it just seems valuable, I feel, to have an awareness of the horrors that humans can inflict on 8-week-old children. It's crazy, and their own son. So as I say, I'm going to read through about half of the article. There's a link in the description. A husband and wife in Louisiana were arrested this week for brutally beating their newborn child to death. The scumbags' names are Annalise Busson Noel and John Franklin Noel, 33 years of age, 35 years of age. They were taken into custody on Wednesday. They were both charged with 1 count each of first-degree murder in the horrific death of their own 8-week-old son. We don't know the baby boy's name, presuming that it was named. Going to go through some of the details here. Emergency medical services personnel on May the 24th, 2022 responded to a call about an unresponsive infant. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders performed CPR before transporting the baby to a health center, and the baby at that point was considered in critical condition. The medical staff informed that the victim sustained a skull fracture, internal bleeding, fixed pupils, intracranial hemorrhaging, rib fractures, as well as visible bruising to the infant's lower back. So a whole host of injuries identified by the medical staff: skull fracture, internal bleeding, fixed pupils, intracranial hemorrhaging, and rib fractures, as well as visible bruising to the lower back. The medical staff further stated the rib fractures had started to show calcium deposits and the injuries were in the healing stages. These injuries were likely sustained approximately 14 to 28 days prior. So that would mean, I believe, I'm right in saying, that this 8-week-old baby boy suffered at least 2 beatings, severe beatings. So the healing stages indicates that some of the injuries occurred at least on 1 previous occasion. And we've seen this before with other similar cases, that these incredibly young babies, these incredibly young children, do have multiple injuries in various states of healing, which I believe I'm right in saying strongly indicates that they were abused, beaten, injured multiple times during their short lives. Doctors further informed investigators that performing CPR on the baby would not have caused the broken ribs or lower back injuries that the baby had sustained, and the doctors concluded that the baby boy was the victim of non-accidental trauma, so purposeful trauma. I have skipped a bit in this article, and it tells us, a little bit of the parents' excuses. Oh, we didn't know, all of a sudden he wasn't breathing, so we tried to give CPR. That's what led to the broken fractures, the broken ribs. No, that's bullshit. Doctors have concluded that the baby boy was the victim of non-accidental trauma, meaning purposeful trauma, meaning a beating. Due to the severity of the baby's injuries, doctors transferred him to New Orleans Children's Hospital for more specialized care. Though he clung to life for several days, the infant ultimately succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at approximately 2:41 p.m. on Friday, May the 27th. A pathologist with the East Baton Rouge Coroner's Office performed an autopsy on the victim and catalogued a more detailed record of his injuries. Okay, so I'm about to read through more details about the 8-week-old baby boy's injury, so brace yourself. The pathologist advised the victim sustained a 5.1-inch skull fracture. That's a big fucking skull fracture to the right side of his head. In addition, the infant suffered 3 broken ribs on the right side and 2 broken ribs on the left side. The pathologist concurred with the conclusion that the victim's rib fractures were 14 to 28 days old, but noted that the skull fracture did not show signs of healing, suggesting that this injury occurred more recently than fractured ribs. Based on the examination, the pathologist ruled that the victim's manner of death was a homicide. That's pretty much all of the information that we have. These two scumbags are scheduled to appear before a judge on Thursday morning for their initial appearances. So I believe that that will be Thursday of this upcoming week. As I say, I have skipped some of the details within this article, and that really is just the excuses that the parents provide. Oh no, it wasn't us. Oh, we have nothing to do with it. Well, not true. Not true. Not according to the pathologists. Not according to the doctors. They are very confident that this 8-week-old baby boy, your own son, was the victim of murder, was the victim of homicide, purposeful violence. These are the only 2 people that have been supervising this 8-week-old boy. Nobody else has had access to the boy, you know. The article also notes that anyone that would have changed or bathed the baby boy would have seen significant signs of significant injury. These 2 are to blame. I mean, I guess this is my speculation, of course. In my opinion, these 2 are to blame. It's possible that it's one is the primary aggressor. It's possible that one is the lesser aggressor. But they're both to blame, seemingly, from my judgment. And I hope they get exactly what they deserve. It does seem more likely to me that the father is more likely to blame. The father claims that he performed CPR on the baby boy after discovering him being unresponsive. So to me, that's an admission that he placed his hands on the baby boy. So I would think he's the primary aggressor. The wife concerned has told police that she was asleep when the baby boy sustained her fatal injuries. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't true, we don't know. But I would be thinking that the scumbag father, and again, this is just my speculation, I could be entirely wrong, of course. My speculation would be that the father is totally guilty of having murdered his own 8-week-old son. And my speculation would be that the mother did not do enough. The baby boy had already sustained significant injuries on at least one prior occasion. The fractures were in the process of healing. The mother would have been aware of such injuries. The article tells us that anyone that would have been changing the baby's clothes or bathing the baby would have seen signs of significant injury. It would be obvious. So, how can the mother deny knowledge that the child had previously been injured? She can't. So to me, even if she's telling the truth in that she was asleep when the son, when the baby boy sustained his fatal injuries, even if that's true, she knew, I'm going to say in my speculation, that she knew that the child was being abused by the husband, if not by the both of them. So anyway, there's that article there. As I say, it is grim. Hopefully I've covered this in a good enough way. Of course, prayers to the lost soul, which we know is already in heaven and has suffered a horrendous life. And, prayers to other children that have faced similar situations. Again, this is not the first time I've read an article in regards to someone as young as 8 weeks old being murdered, allegedly at the hands of their parents or guardians. This is something that happens. It's absolutely fucking insane. So we hope that justice goes ahead, that these two scumbags get exactly what they deserve. This happened in Louisiana. I don't know if there's the death penalty there. If there is, yes, go ahead with that. If there isn't, lock them up for as long as you can. Life. Don't give the woman an easier time of things just because she's a woman. No, that's not good enough. How can she argue that she wasn't aware of the injuries that the baby had sustained? I don't think she can. I'm going to wrap things up there, guys. I'm going to try to make a whole batch of videos over the next few hours. So please stick around, and thank you for your time.